Howdy y'all, welcome back to my channel for the final adventure of Jinx the Cyberpunk. He has made his way up through the ranks of the Cardinal Vultures, and now it's time for him to retire. This is one of the cool things that Neon City Overdrive does. And of course you can continue on to make you don't have to retire the characters when you get all your stuff up to the right, enough points or whatever. But it is a good guideline to get someone out of the business, right? Because I mean, let's be honest. Being a cyberpunk kind of sucks. It's not really the best, you know. Uh, but after returning from the battle with the destroying the rogue AI last time, going out in the wilds and leading a team where half of them were killed in the gunshots and by the storm. Uh, Jinx is made captain. He's made a capo. Uh, and he's given his own little area close to Slab. And he's given his own little crew, and part of what they do is part of what they're assigned to do by the father is to clean up the messes from the Razor Girl War. So if they find Razor Girls hanging around their area, then they take them out. But Jinx, he doesn't he doesn't want this life. He does actually love his gang members, the people. Some of them, some of them are just a bunch of criminal reprobates. And he realizes that he is one too, and he doesn't want to be. He has no love for the corpos and their corrupt laws, but there's got to be some better way. And it sure as hell ain't down here. And so he has spent his um, last bit of influence to continue to pay and to continue to make those connections that he needs. He slowly, it's been a couple of months now, like 2 months, he's slowly been working on making himself more presentable, trying to learn how to speak and getting that, the street rat out of his speech. Because he plans on adopting a new life up there, new persona up there. And he does feel attachment to this gang, but he doesn't want to carry the gang war with him. He doesn't want to carry this violent gangster life up with him. So the last bit that he's going to try to do is he's going to try to fake his death before he leaves. And he has hired a crew of independents who will do that, who will help him do that. And this session is basically just going to be all wrapping up. We're not going to be doing any adventures. It's a final goodbye to Jinx the Cyberpunk. But he's made some pretty close connections. Do any of them realize what's going on? No. He has them all fooled. And he feels sad about that, because even though he really thinks that Fidget is a bumbling fool, he's well-meaning, and he's his friend, and he knows that Fidget's somebody that he now could call on to get him out of a hole, or to help him bury bodies, whatever, whatever he needs. But he's done with the life, and he does not want to bring, like I said, he doesn't want to bring that life up with him. So let's go ahead and we'll just run through the retirement procedure. All right. So the retirement, we'll head down here. And it's just like any other kind of check. It uses the drive track to resolve. And then you create dice pool with pluses for each tick and minus to unticked boxes. And he does have one stash left, but he wants to keep that. So in more violent or dangerous campaigns, he would have had to have traded some of these drive boxes to recover. Now, maybe it was something I was doing wrong, or maybe he just got lucky. But he didn't really have any adventures where he got hit with traumas, because traumas are not easily cleared up. The traumas you have to pay, though. You have to fix those with leverage. And if you trade those leverage, then you lose drive. You lose drive points. So, but maybe he was lucky. Maybe I was doing wrong. Either way, it's time for Jinx the Cyberpunk to retire. So sad. All right, so it's basically just going to be a matter of rolling the dice and then coming up with a story. So as we look over here, I think we've got 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Yep. So we've got 9. 9d6 and then 1 danger die. So let's see how that works out for us. And if it turns into some kind of botch or a failure, I already know how that's going to play out. I already know it. I'm inspired. All right. So he's got a full success and a boon. And that translates to, with a 6, you complete your drive and get out of the life. Describe how and what becomes of the character. Boons represent unforeseen windfalls that you can bestow on allies. Each boon counts as a point of leverage that you can give to any players. Okay. So he got a boon. He's going to leave a little something. He's going to leave a little something for Slab, because she's really helped him out a lot over his time. And get out of there, dice. So Jinx watches his car fall off the overpass and explode. And the hacker is in his grid. He sees his own accounts and everything terminate with that. He's completely disconnected. All of his gear is left in there. He's starting over. He has no real implants. He doesn't have an implant chip to tie him to that. All of his gear was in that car. And that car is pretty much going to be destroyed completely forever. There is just enough biomatter. If someone wants to scrape it out, they'll see that it was Jinx, or at least his cells that they find. He paid a lot of money, but they did good. They made him disappear. Normally, the people he hired, they don't make their clients disappear. They make other people disappear. But these guys did it just right. Jinx looks one last time and then hops on the air shuttle, the flitter that takes him to his flight to the space station. And he can barely breathe. He looks completely different. He passes by some of the windows as he's going into the terminal, and his hair, everything, He stops to look, and it's strange. Does not see his old face. Before, looking so much like a corpo would have made him sick to his stomach. But he's ready to move on. He's starting it all over. With one final look back over the sprawling scum pit known as Neon City, he feels no remorse, no regret. And he turns to the shining, sparkling rocket. And he gets up the ladder and he buckles in. The beautiful stewardesses and flight attendants, the stewards, buckle him in, offer him delicious food while he's waiting. They offer him a grid box so that he can watch the launch from the outside. And he watches it as he feels the rocket start to rumble, and he feels the pressure as he's pushed back into his seat. He was always so afraid of that it would hurt to be pushed like that, but these advanced acceleration couches, it's almost like the ship's giving him a hug. And he sees like he's looking from the nose of the ship, fully immersive. And he sees the lasers dancing around and chasing the clouds out of his way. And he sees the stars above. And the rocket punches through above the clouds. He can see a curling horizon of blue just for a second before he's in the dark. And he's looking around at the stars. Weightless. Still strapped in, but weightless. And of course, part of the service is to give the rich VIPs the tour of orbit. So they open up panels, or they open up displays for him to look at, looking down at Earth. It's covered with roiling clouds, roiling angry clouds that he has lived under every day of his life. And yet every now and then he sees some beautiful blue through those clouds. And he thinks about how he'll be able to always see those from here. He flips through his itinerary, his job interview, which was already passed. He's already got a job, not a high-level executive job, but he sure makes a lot more money than he did below. And there's not going to be tatted up, razored up, cybered up freaks trying to kill him every day. And beautiful people, clean walkways. And he's taken to his housing area, almost as cramped as his tenement house, but clean, smells fresh, doesn't have the stink of Neon City. And it has a panel, just a small portal, just enough to look out and see the arc of the earth below. And that is how Jinx, the cyberpunk, escaped the life and lived happily ever after, high above the suffering that he had to live through growing up. All right. Well, I hope if you've made it this far, I thank you for joining me on my journey with Jinx the Cyberpunk, and I hope you enjoyed following along. I tried not to be too long-winded. Neon City Overdrive and that whole system, I really like that system. So I had a lot of fun making the game and telling the story. I didn't make the Neon City Overdrive game, but I mean making this this campaign using those rules. But thanks for coming along. It's a good ending. Got an ending with a boon. Can't get better than that. So Anyway, thanks and happy gaming.